Every move that you make is recorded in the air.
How about new?
The messianic following of Charles Manson. Now, obviously, Charles Manson is deceased. Obviously, I've spoken about cults on many occasions. I've spoken about Charles Manson on several occasions and various other cult leaders of the past. But it's interesting to ponder how many people actually consider Charles Manson to be highly important. Not merely a peculiar cult leader with a sociopathic personality, highly narcissistic, a compulsive liar and showman of a kind, master manipulator who guided some washed out, drop-out kind of hippies high on LSD and manipulated continuously by his nonsensical beliefs and ideas. He guided them to commit murder on numerous occasions. And people would see him as being some kind of messiah or some kind of hero, a anarchic symbol or icon, one who would be important to the very nature of anarchism. You know, I don't see this man as being an anarchist, which is why I find it a funny connection. Or I don't see him as being revolutionary. His ideas weren't all that new or fresh, but to people who didn't know better, perhaps they were, or seemed to be so fresh to them because they did not have any other source for that information, for those ideas. It makes me wonder what goes through people's minds. He was a person who, given the right opportunities, or perhaps the wrong opportunities, and indeed those wrong opportunities did indeed arise, would manipulate, abuse, control others, make them do his dirty work, and he would do terrible things. I don't see this person as a hero, but some people do. Some people on the internet, as indeed you can congregate any number of groups online, they will say that he was a hero, a symbol. Oh, the lies about him, and in later life he was trying to save the trees from prison, you know. His supporters were supporting his work, sharing it online. His idea of saving the planet. A kind of popularism on the part of this sociopath. It's bizarre. A man who pretty much suggested that he was the Messiah, that he was Jesus incarnate, and his followers, who are very often high and isolated, of course, which is brilliant for reality control in terms of thought reform, they would believe that they were doing the best possible thing by killing people like Sharon Tate. It's remarkable. Truly remarkable. I don't know what's more remarkable, actually. What's even more peculiar? I mean, those people who believed in his work and carried out murderous acts, or those people who are in such denial they see him as some kind of prophet or messiah. And there are those people who fall between the two, I suppose. And those other people with other opinions. Some people who saw him as a fall man or some kind of MK Ultra control. Conspiracy theories abound, and on the internet, where people can congregate, any number of ideas can come together. Groups, pages, forums of people discussing at length what they think the case may have been. You know, if they can say ridiculous things about JFK, they can say one or two things about Charles Manson and the cult which he formed around him. The connections that he had to certain celebrities and certain people he brushed shoulders with, these choice of targets, and his belief, and the belief he passed on to his little cult, that his actions and the actions of his people would cause a race war that would bring down society, and when society reared its head once again, they would be the ones in charge. It's ludicrous fantasies, but to the manipulated minds, young and easily guided people, including those who were taking lots of LSD, It's got to be said, just a reminder again and again that they were taking large amounts of LSD. It just probably made so much sense. Listening to music, say, for example, by the Beatles, and I think it's Helter Skelter, wasn't it? And believing that, it's all coming down. That world's going to come down, the society's going to come down. But hey, this guy with the cock eyes, he's going to be in charge in the end. And those people, even after he was apprehended, those people, even after he spent years in prison, those people idolising Charles Manson, it just makes no good sense to me. That people would find the feet of any human being a good place to sit, as if any person can be a guru, even a person who incited others to murder on his behalf. Well, it's remarkable, isn't it? At least with the apparatus of an Indian guru or a New Age teacher, you have at least the pretense of some kind of wisdom or concept of wisdom or source thereof. With Charles Manson, you have a ranting madman. Or you had a ranting madman. And literature about him, supporters, former and actual members of his cult family at certain points in the past, who would, well, sing his praises or shoot him down, whichever way. Hard to believe that people actually would take Charles Manson seriously in that respect, as being some kind of important character. In terms of psychology, in terms of understanding the man, I can understand that. But in terms of idolising him, it's really bizarre.